that is generated. This table is generated as a nested query as well, right? So this is a derived result. MySQL, we know that is not able to execute this query efficiently because it cannot leverage the fact that it can build indexes on maybe sub ID, right? It can build indexes on sub ID, but it cannot, right? It will not be able to leverage that because it is a derived result. So what it can do, what we can do is essentially we can take this out of this sub derived result that we had, save this in a temporary table, build indexes on sub ID, and then pass that table to this query as a secondary query. Just decorrelate this query, not decorrelate exactly, but sort of de-nest this query into two separate things, build an index on the derived relation. That actually helps out MySQL because we know that MySQL uses nested loops and it uses indexes whenever possible, just not with derived relations, right? So if we build this particular temporary table, build an index on top of it, and then pass it to MySQL separately, it is going to be much faster compared to this monstrosity of this code, right? Okay. Yes. So we can see that MySQL does try to do it. It has the primary keys. It uses the primary keys for things, but later down the line, it ends up using wheres, right? It rarely uses index. Only one situation is it actually using the index, right? Otherwise, it is not even using the index, right? So this particular query on a very old machine actually took 3 seconds, but if we actually perform that indexing operation, this particular query takes 3 seconds too long. Let's just say that. So this particular query could be done in milliseconds or nanoseconds. Okay. So if we compare this same query, on the other hand, with Postgres, we see a drastic difference. The main difference is Postgres has a lot of sophisticated join algorithms such as hash joins and sort merge joins built into it. And we see that it is efficiently able to use those algorithms to perform those join operations. So if we apply the explain command on Postgres with this query, we can see that it actually uses the hash aggregate and the hash operations to actually compute these results in the using a hash join. And since it's a hash join, it can actually create indexes for those nested queries as well, right? So it is creating indexes on the fly and joining those tables in the most efficient way possible. And we end up with a cost of 221 or something like that. So one thing that we can do in Postgres, and that is something that I really like about Postgres, is it is very experimental. You can turn off certain join operations, right? So we can say that, you know what, Postgres, I don't want you to use hash join at all, just to see what the cost would be, right? So it actually does not turn off the hash join. It sets the cost for hash join to like $1 million or something, right? So essentially, then you can see that Postgres stops using the hash join altogether, but now it reverts back to sort merge join, right? See, it reverts back to sort merge join, and then that would be the best way for it to solve this particular thing. And you can see the cost has went up a little from 200 something to it has now gone up to 422. Well, we can say that, you know what, don't even use sort merge at all. So we are turning off both sort merge and hash join. And now we see figures that are now closer in terms of performance to MySQL because we don't have merge join, we don't have hash join. So that is pretty much similar to MySQL. And we see the cost has grown exponentially, right? It has now, what is it? Yeah, right, 100,000, right? So the cost has become 100,000, but it has still some tricks in it and up its sleeve. It has something called a materialize. So it does actually create a temporary table to materialize that temporary table to the hard drive and then load that data back just to make its life a bit more easy. Right? So as you can see, that different join operations and given the tool sets that we have depends upon what we are actually able to plan over, and depending upon the database components that we have, the planner then makes those choices. Many databases also maintain statistics for individual attributes. For individual attributes, databases might even maintain histograms for those values so that we know that which attribute is more likely to be used in a where clause. But most of the databases, just some simpler databases just track min, max, and the count of the attributes. But at the end of the day, it needs to measure the cost that is to be required in order to execute a particular plan. So there are different levels of estimates for those costs. And again, those are all estimates, right? Those are not completely accurate. A CPU access cost or a disk access cost is just an estimate based on the number of rows that might be returned given some statistical information, right? So your database uses those. Again, those are estimates. But you can actually run some commands on your database to actually update your table statistics. So MySQL has the command analyze table. Postgres has that command, I don't know why, but vacuum analyze, that you can actually apply to actually perform these statistic updates. In general, these are done very rarely. Like I remember that our database usually, the statistics of the database is usually updated in Microsoft. I mean, the company Microsoft, the statistics is updated every 6 months or every year or something like that, not all the time, right? Okay, so yeah, I guess that's it. We are done. So essentially, that is basically how your database plans over the queries that it has. It takes a query, converts it into its relational algebra component, and then creates multiple possible options or variations of that particular formulation that would result in the same thing. But it then figures out the cost of each of those implementations based on whether it can use an index, based on whether what type of join operations does it have, whether it can perform those join operations faster, whether index would be faster. And based on those, it actually then executes your query. So yes, so that would be how in a